Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on how I did that Maggie Holmes Flourish mini album style flipbook that I did for my pal Anne. And yeah, I almost forgot like how to make it. I had to message her. I was like, okay, I'm a hot mess. Okay, anyway, what I'm working with today is 110-pound cardstock. There's different weights to paper, and 110-pound is definitely like way thicker than, you know, your normal 65-pound weight paper. I use this because I don't make a traditional mini album like where you get the chipboard and you lay it out and tape and fold and do all that. This is just a quick wannabe version of that without having to use chipboard, and you eliminate all those extra steps. So anyway, you'll need 4 pieces of paper. The first 2 are 110-pound cardstock, and then the other 2 are just regular cardstock. I'm using regular because it gets a little hard to try to crease and fold 110-pound cardstock because it is really thick. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get to it. But yeah. Okay, so the first sheet of paper is a regular 8.5 by 11. I like to score things first and then I go and cut it, or it doesn't really matter actually. So line it up long ways and you're gonna score it at 4 3/4. And score it again at 6 1/4. And then you're gonna cut it down. So you're gonna leave the 11-inch, you're gonna leave it that length, but you're gonna make it a little bit shorter down to 6 1/4. And the reason I cut it down, my book to that size, is because then you can use your 6x6 paper pads, or those it's like 7 and, you know, whatever size that is. You can use your odd size papers versus, you know, you don't need a 12 by 12 sheet. So there's the book. We're done. Bye. I wish. Okay, so that's your first piece. You can, you know, fold down your score lines. I'm no professional. I'm sure there's other ways to do this, fancier ways, but this is for Happy Mail. I'm not using this for like photos and selling it and stuff like that. Okay, so your second piece of paper, which also is 110-pound cardstock, I'm gonna cut this down on the 11-inch side. I'm gonna cut it down to 10 inches. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn around. I don't want to cut my instructions off. So you're gonna cut it down 10 inches. Not 10 inches. You're going to cut it down to 10 inches. Cut it down to 6. Gosh, I need to get a new blade for my thing. Okay, anyway. Okay, so now I have it cut down to 10 by 6. Now just line it up long ways and score it at 4 5/8. And score it again at 5 3/8. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you guys ever feel like the grooves like throw you off in a completely different direction? It always does that to me. Okay. So now just fold on your score lines. Ta-da! So I'm changing up the flip book a little bit compared to what I had originally gave to my pal Anne, just because the gussets take much longer, much more patience, and I get so confused, like fold mountain valley, this, that. It confuses me. I don't know why. I'm just not I'm a little bit special in that area. Okay, so now your shorter piece is going to fit perfectly. You're going to line it up in between your 2 first scores. Just, you know, eyeball it. You want this edge to be equal with, you know, this edge, and same with the bottom. Just, you know, eyeball it out. But before you do that, you're gonna wanna use really strong adhesive. This is not necessarily the strongest adhesive, and it looks like I'm running really low, but I'm gonna add glue on top of it just to make it stronger. I've seen YouTube people use, it's called like red tape, red something, score tape. But I tried it and it didn't work any different than this. So I was like, pfft. Anyway, okay, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of art glitter glue. This stuff is like I said, I saw it once, I ordered it, and I fell in love with it. It looks like Elmer's glue, but it's not. It's much stronger, dries crystal clear, and it's wet. It does dry pretty fast, not gonna lie. Not like fast, but compared to a normal like wet glue. And because I put wet glue over the sticky tape, I have a little bit more time, you know, to move it around, not just it stick down and I'm screwed. Okay, so that's to the best of my eyeballing capabilities. And if it oozes out over the side, no biggie, because it dries, like I said, crystal clear. Just giving it a good folding. So now I just have a quick front page, inside page, this, this, and this. We're already, I mean, technically you could leave it like this. Get your fancy patterned paper, put it on here, you know, mat it up, put it on these. If you don't want any type of like, and then you can put your embellishments. But for my wannabe mini photo album, I added some stuff to it. Okay, so with my thinner sheets of paper, as in weight, these are like 60 or 80 pound cardstock, I'm not sure. We're going to cut a 6 3/4 by 5 inch rectangle. So let's do 6 3/4 by 5. Then with this square, it's gonna go on this first, or I mean, you could put it on any of these two flaps, these inner pages, but it's gonna go here. You're gonna want to score 3 of the sides, so this side, this side, this side, which you'll see why, because I'm gonna make, it's gonna be a pocket. So I scored the edges at 3/8 of an inch. And I like doing 3/8 of an inch because sometimes 1/4 of an inch is just too small and there's not enough room for your tape or glue or whatever your, you know, strong adhesive that you are using. Pocket. Move this out of the way. So, working with, this is the front, this first page is the page that I'm doing it on. I'm just going to line up the bottom. Then I'm going to fold in the side along with my top piece. I'm gonna bone fold and get a real good grip. Okay, so now I have a pocket right there. Then on this one, this second page, you're gonna get your 4th piece of paper. Again, this is just regular cardstock, regular white cardstock. Gonna cut it down to 6 3/8 by 5 3/8. And since I already did a pocket going this way, I want my next page to have a pocket coming from the top. So I'm gonna score down these sides and at the bottom. So this piece, again, you just score at the 3/8 mark on both the left and the right side. Just rotate it around. And then at the bottom, 3/8. So again, one side's not scored. Where the bottom two meet, chop it off. Crease those folds. Get your book, page 1, page 2. So I'm gonna just line up the bottom piece. Fold in the sides. Crease it down. Ta-da! Okay, then I'll do my hole punching in a minute so I can show you guys. Then with your, because you have several scrap pieces of paper, get some of the like longer ones and make it 2 inches wide, 2 inches by 5 inches, so 2 by 5. So your 2 by 5, oops, you're gonna, long ways, you're gonna score at the 3/4 mark, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so you're done with that one. Then get another scrap piece of paper. Let's see, what size is this? Oh, 3, oh, so literally one of the pieces of paper I cut just happened to be that. Then the next piece is cut it at 3.5 by 2, and that's exactly what this second half of this was. And same with this piece, you're going to score at the 3/4 inch mark. Go ahead and fold on your score line. And on the first page, because this is where I put my letter, I'm going to put the shorter piece, as you can see, on the top. So get my tape, your score line, just so it really grabs on. And then with the page, from the score line to the end of the paper, you know, eyeball it best you can, and I like to center it because I'm going to put an envelope there eventually. And move it around, and then just boom, fold it on there. Then the bottom piece, do the same. It up the best you can. Probably an easier way to do this. I mean, I'm all about just easy and not measuring if I don't have to. So you can see that it kind of lines up, and since I did put that glitter glue, I can slide it around, and look, now it matches up perfectly. So that's how I did it. I'm learning with you guys, even though I'm giving the tutorial. Okay. So yeah, that's it. In my original, this 2-inch circle punch, and so technically you could probably do this before. I just center it with the paper the best that I can, and only punch half of the circle. And a little less than half, actually. Less than half. Looks nicer. Like there. So centered. I have to do this couple of times to really get it. Cutting through 2 pieces of 110-pound cardstock, so make sure you, if you have some dull circle punch, maybe don't circle punch it, you know. So yeah, that is my base of my mini album flip book. This is where you also tape down your, this is called seam binding. It's called bias tape as well. I get this at Walmart. I mean, these are different. This is single fold. This is extra wide double fold. So I'm gonna use the pink one because I know what I'll eventually use on this mini album. Rough guesstimate. So this piece of seam binding that I just cut is roughly just enough to tie it in a, like a little bow with a little bit of string. It's 12. 12 is 24. 5 to 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31 and a half inches, roughly. Because since your book's the same size as mine. So because mine is like double whatever length it said it was, I'm just gonna get my tape and run it down the center all the way through. And do it multiple times. I love using hot glue because it's like instant and it sticks, but for stuff like this, you want to keep it thin. You still have to photo mat, which means get your fancy paper and put it on there. You don't want it all lumpy and Humpty Dumpty underneath. Like it has to stay flat and pretty and smooth. And this stuff is kind of thick. I wish I knew where people got the real pretty thin like satin seam binding. So just center where the center of your string is and put it down. There we go. Ta-da! And then, you know, we'll tie it in a bow at the end when it's filled with goodies. You know, something like that. Obviously, it's all stiff right now, but yeah, you get the idea. Okay, so that's the base. If you guys want to go ahead without me, just photo mat your stuff. You can use Velcro or magnets right here. And then I glued an envelope on top. And then this, you can embellish, you know, stick your stuff. And then right here, in my other album, I just got whatever cardstock I was using and just cut it down in a diagonal, and I just did a side pocket like that. And I didn't do any fancy folds or creases. I just literally cut out a triangle and then taped the pieces of the 2 edges of the triangle to put that on. So yeah, hopefully next week I will get to like decorate this bad boy. I'm going on vacation. My daughter gets out of school tomorrow and we are heading out of town. So when you guys see this, it will be Thursday. Yes. Okay. Catch you guys on the next video. Bye.